Hello, this is Sean Bin Long presenting Physics 2211 Lab 4. And the introduction, the purpose, and a quick result preview of this lab is that the purpose of this experiment was to compare the results between the computer model and an observed model that demonstrates a change in energy and motion through a oscillating motion. Now, a quick result preview is that the computer model, when compared with the observed model, had very similar results with little deviation. And some of the key concepts and assumptions that was used in this lab was the energy principle mainly, where the change in energy of the system equals to the change in kinetic energy, change in gravitational energy, and change in spring potential energy, where K is equal to kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mv squared. Potential gravitational energy is mgh, h being the height, and potential spring energy, which is 1/2 ks, where s is the stretched length minus the original length. And Newton's second law is also used. And the assumptions that we made is that the change of energy in the system is zero because energy is conserved. That's the main assumption, and that net force is also zero. Now here the tracker model of the observed model, where the system is the attached mass, the spring and the earth, and the surrounding, there's no surrounding. And these are initial conditions in the code where the mass of the in this it says ball, but the mass is 0.402 kilograms. This is the initial position, gravitational constant, the spring constant, which was given in the pre-lecture, as well as the relaxed length. And these are the equations that we used down here. Now, in terms of the loop, while time is less than 5.5 seconds, to sum it up, we used the position update formula for the mass, velocity update formula, and mainly the energy principle, where kinetic energy, gravitational potential energy, and spring potential energy was being solved and used. And here is the video of the code running. And here the graph that was outputted by the computer model, where, as you can see, the oscillation and the curve, where as an energy, the potential energy increases, another potential energy decrease, and the delta E, which is change in energy, remains relatively close to zero. And when compared over here in these two graphs, when comparing the model and the experiments, they're very similar with very little deviation. However, there is some deviation, and that could be caused by a few different things. The first thing is that the initial velocity was assumed to be zero when it could be some other vector. And drag, air resistance, was also ignored in this case. And center of mass was estimated in the tracker, so human error could definitely play a role into the small deviation. Now for the conclusion and discussion of what does it mean for my model system, the energy principle is satisfied because according to the computer graph, spring energy and gravitational energy oscillates opposite to each other. So as one increase, the other one decrease. And same thing with the kinetic energy, it also oscillates. And the total change of energy, delta E in the graph, as we saw before, is zero. And another question is that when we use two separate estimates of oscillation periods, first by estimating the period of oscillation from the x position data, and second, estimate the period of the oscillation from the y position data, compare the two and estimates and discuss. So according to tracker, the periods of x is 2.095 seconds for one full oscillation, and the period of oscillation of y is 2 seconds, and the difference could be caused by human error in estimating the center of mass.